Welcome everybody. Welcome everybody. Rob, I was gonna send you like a song or something so that you can play as like it don't gotta be the intro forever.
Yeah,
But I'm just like we could already come in we can already come in vibing.
I like
So
it. Yeah, we should.
yeah,
We
yeah.
never did that for the last run of this, but we should do it this time.
No, but like I have a song. Like I,
Oh,
I have songs. You know what I mean? So it'd be like this is one of my favorite songs. It might be a collab. This is one of my favorite songs of mine. And also, dude, did I tell you I made a jingle for a law firm?
no,
Boy, and this ain't even a commercial, so I'm not even gonna say their name.
don't say their name.
I'm just gonna tell you that they trusted me with their radio branding, basically. Hey, this is the phone number that we have that people can call. Make us a jingle. So, dude, I got with a DJ Quality. I said, man, I need a cumbia beat. This tempo similar to this. This is the inspiration. This is the reference. Yada yada.
Mm-hmm.
And then he sent it. You know what I mean? And then I came in with the phone number. Said the phone number, and I gave him the English versions, the Spanish versions, 60-second, 30-second, 15-second. They're gonna start running here probably in a couple weeks, and. So yeah, I think I hit it out the park because if it's like you want that phone number to be infectiously burned into their head,
Yep.
and you're gonna let me take the creative reins on it. So yeah,
You know who else should have let you take the creative reins? I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. Last night's Super Bowl halftime show should have let Chingo Bling take the reins.
Oh, bro, we would have had Ramon Ayala
Dude, that would have been so good.
with the Selena hologram. It would have been like, all this is stolen land. All of this is all stolen. This
Dude.
network stole it from what has this network done for the plight of indigenous people of color, minorities, illegal immigrants? They're being racist against us. Hey, bro.
I was ready for this conversation. I was ready for this debate, conversation, whatever. This taking down of that
Okay.
narrative last week. So real quick for listeners, I got a bunch of DMs, which people are happy that we're doing this again. Which even if it's one a week or however often you get to do it, because of your schedule, it's great. But I was like, hey, the people were like, hey, when's the next RBT? When's the next RBT? I was like, Chingo's on the road. But that day, I was in Houston for business. I had brunch with Chingo. I had coffee. We talked about the podcast, all kinds of stuff. I was going to drive back to Austin, do the podcast that night, but you had to go out of town. You had shows, so we're here now. All right, and I wanted to start with that, but before we start with that, people want to know where you're going to be, dude.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. Caldwell, Texas. It's gonna be like a Valentine's shindig. I got the band in tow, so my boy Steve-O and the band, they're gonna back me up. And it's Willie Barcena's performance. So it's like a co-headliner comedy thing. Anyway, that's Caldwell on the 15th. Valentine's vibe, bring your vieja. Yo, New York City, bro. New York City. You know that when Chingo Bling touches down in the NYC, I could just hit somebody. Hey Schultz, who you got that could maybe open up the show? Next thing you know, he might be like, dog, I'll come host the show. I'm not saying Dave Chappelle's gonna be there, but I'll be at Rodney's in New York City, March 7th. So yeah, man, it's been a long time since I've done New York, and now that they've cleaned up the place,
A little bit.
might be able to walk around. But I heard FEMA allegedly. We could probably get into that, but like I heard FEMA sent like 59 million to put up some migrants in 5-star hotels, and that was 59 million this week alone, allegedly. Arizona, one of my favorite clubs, Mic Drop Comedy Club. That's April 17th through the 19th. That's a whole weekend in the 602. Phoenix, pull up on your boy AZ. Yo, if you in Tucson, pull in. Yuma, pull in. Cause I just performed at a Mic Drop Comedy Club in Plano, Texas, and man, they just put a touch. There's just a touch on that club, bro. Like you could just tell, like, nah, this ain't really corporate, dog. Like it's done in a very, very high key, like professional manner. Like all the details, the team behind it, like they come from that world. So they brought all that experience, and you just like, man, the details of the artwork of each club has a theme. The Plano is the Robin Hood theme. The Chandler, Arizona, I think that one is I know what's the one where she chases a rabbit? The white rabbit.
Yeah.
Alice in Wonderland. That I think that's their San Diego theme. Anyway, Arizona, pull up, man. April 17th through the 19th. After that, El Paso, Texas. Y'all know what it is, Chuco Town. April 24th through the 26th. I love doing weekends in El Paso, bro. I'm going to be at some jiu-jitsu gyms and everything else, man. And then we have Kingsville, May 3rd. But, I'll give y'all the rest later. So, yeah, let's get into this.
JingoBling.com and sign up for the newsletter if you want an opportunity to enter some upcoming contests, some giveaways. Enter the newsletter.
Yeah, I want to put y'all on the guest list. So go to ChingoBling.com. I want to start doing some ticket giveaways and hook y'all up. If you've never been to a show, all you got to do is go to ChingoBling.com. It's going to pop up and say, hey, join our newsletter. There's a lot of big tech shadow banning. Give us your email, basically. So I want y'all to put your info, and I want to start doing some giveaways, and I'll announce it so y'all know this ain't no fucking pyramid scheme. I'll be like, hey, and I want to take a picture with you if you come to the show. Like, hey, this guy gave me his email. He gave me his data. You know what I'm saying? I got your social.
Hey, I mean, everybody's concerned about that right now, right? Like, oh my God, Elon's going to take all of our private information. That's stuff that you can easily find online if you know where to search. But anyway.
And I mean, bro, like, I get it. I'm not going to knock you for being a little, because I don't have both pom-poms up for Elon Musk. And there's just
I don't think we ever did. Honestly, in all fairness, I don't think we did. You can go back to old RPTs if you heard them, or if you were there. We were always critical of them.
I mean, I'm not gonna I'm a huge fan. I really like what he has going on. And if you're hiring Mr. Musk, I mean, I am in Texas. Let me know if you need actually, I did write La Cumbia de Elon like an hour ago.
Oh, okay.
And it's pretty damn catchy.
Let it drop. When's it drop?
No, I got to cook it up. I just did a vocal recording in my phone. And when I'm ready to pull the trigger, then I'll send it probably to DJ Quality and tell him, hey, man, I need a cumbia. I beatboxed it, I did that.
I'll be able to hear it at the Gigafactory. They might play it there all the time.
In a Cybertruck. Boom, boom. Elon Musk. Elon Musk. All right, anyway.
SpaceX.
Yeah. En la camioneta Cybertruck. Anyway. So, yeah, dude, that was my disclaimer. I don't have both pom-poms up. I'm not going to knock you for, like, keeping I think it's a healthy thing to, like, just kind of keep your spidey senses up and just be like, hold on, because there's a lot of information we got to decipher and filter through, sift through. So if you're a normie, like if you're a normie, I'm not gonna sit here and berate you over the fact that do they have access to your social and what can they do with it? You know what I mean? But I also want to tell a normie, like, hey, let's look at the whole picture and let's hear what both sides are saying, and then you decide. So that way nobody's assigning an opinion to you. Like, okay, how much waste and fraud was there? Can you give me some examples? Don't let nobody lie to you with statistics. Like, okay, what is that a percentage of our overall budget? Because I heard the other side saying, oh, that's a drop in the bucket. Okay, but why does Chelsea Clinton get a check? You know what I mean? Why the Clintons?
$80 million.
Yeah, I think it was like 84 million on the slick. Like, these people been hitting licks off of us. Like, you know what I mean? Crazy.
Yeah, people don't want to. What's crazy is that you went through, 4 years of Trump, and then we went through 4 years of what seems like the craziest, like, alter dimension, different universe, 4 years, and now we're back to another Trump administration. It feels like a whole different world. It feels like a whole different vibe to the entire administration, him included, right? Him from the top down. And still you have people who have been railing against it from the beginning to the Biden years to now, who can't seem to just take a breath. Like, for instance, I saw somebody yesterday who's in the jiu-jitsu world. I typically don't see this from people in the jiu-jitsu world, but their post was like, it was like a New York Times cover, and the caption was like, I usually don't say a lot of things politically, which, by the way, we can get to that too. I think that's such a dumb statement to say.
Yeah.
But I don't post political things, but the caption was like, from the New York Times and him, like, they're doing a lot at once to try to overwhelm you. Don't let them overwhelm you, or something like that. I'm like, oh my God.
Okay. Well, dude, it's interesting, bro. It's interesting because not everybody has access to the same information, and not everybody, like, for example, if you told somebody right now, on like just a random person, you're having a convo on public transportation, and somehow it comes up that, hey man, I personally think like most of the media is fake. they'd probably freak out like, bro, why would there be such a conspiracy to lie and to be in cahoots to all the news and the media? They're just making stuff up. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
we have to remember to be patient with people. Like if you're a black belt on psyops, like if you
Yeah.
kind of understand media and messaging and how economics and how money gets funneled and how we have been hoaxed in the past. Like once basically you already kind of got red pilled and you know about the uniparty, you know what a rhino is. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
you start putting shit together because you on some black belt shit.
Yeah.
Well, we got to be patient with the white belts, the people that just they don't even know that they're combatants in an information war. Like,
Let me ask you this though: does that ever do we ever draw the line somewhere and say we've had enough patience with tiptoeing you towards what we would call truth, or at least more facts, or do we just keep do we try to keep being the bigger person, right? Do we try to keep being the righteous one that's always trying to show everybody the light, and despite all of their efforts to literally shut the listeners of this, down, we're gonna keep just being gentle with you, bringing you into the light?
yeah, that's a very good point, bro. Like, I think it depends on what we're talking about specifically. Like, for example, if somebody has the opinion that like Trump is literally destroying this country, he's a Putin puppet, he's a con man. He doesn't care about you and he's not going to pick you. He's a white supremacist and he's literal Hitler. If someone thinks that already, like
Yeah.
Rob, how dare you be a Trump sympathizer? The man who ripped babies from their mother's arms and put them in concentration camps. It's like, I'd hate me too if that's what I thought was really happening. You know what I mean? But like,
Sure.
I got some other information that you looking at it from a very irrational perspective. So I think when it comes to like having patience with people, I feel like the one that's like, hey, bro, he's not literal Hitler. I think really the stuff about, man, my phone, bro. Everybody wanna the stuff
Everybody needs
about
Chingo.
what is that shit called? The stuff about how the media is just like a Truman show. Like we're seeing the wizard from the Wizard of Oz
Mhm.
behind the little curtain, the little guy
Yep.
pushing all the buttons and has the smoke in the mirrors and the curtain and all that. So I feel like that is like the little Rubik's Cube thing, the key that unlocks a lot of stuff. Once people see something debunked, like for real, like, all right, bro, you thought he said this. Here was the hoax. Like some people literally, if you believe a lot of those hoaxes, you're gonna engage with the world as fuck Chingo Bling, fuck MC Magic, fuck Grupo Frontera, fuck all these people who turned their back on their people. They lined their pockets off of our culture. They're culture vultures. They're vendidos. They'll sell you out over nothing. This is what happens when you make over 60K. You know what I mean? Like, their tax bracket is what's dictating them selling out their gente. And it's like, yeah, you know why you're so mad? And you're typing this whole fucking damn Chingo Cleto's rolling in his grave, dog. And to believe I bought your bobblehead. Like, it's because they literally think that there's Russian P tapes. They think that Trump said all this nasty stuff about his daughter. They think he's homeboys with Jeffrey Epstein. Like, dog, I see a lot of the comments and a lot of them. It's like a mixed match hodgepodge of hoaxes. They're
Mhm.
like, dude, this is the homie that incited an insurrection, dog. Like, they attacked the Capitol. They tried a coup d'etat, bro. Like, they literally had their riot, and he doesn't care about you. He's a con man. He's not gonna pick you. And the rich people this, and what about our gente and stolen land and fucking all this shit.
If you can't take the time to take, again, like I was saying a second ago, if you can't take the time to take a breather and go try to find out as much refuting evidence, I guess, of what you just heard that made you upset, then you really shouldn't hop online and start, Twitter fingers over here, or keyboard warrioring, because you're not really taking the time. Like, there was a perfect example of somebody from MSNBC or one of these companies was on Bill Maher's show, I think last night, the night before, and he was trying to word salad himself around all of the negativity coming from what's going on at the what is it? US. I hate saying US
USAID.
aid because
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not
yeah.
really aid, and it's also kind of, if you think about it, it's purposeful that they named it that way. But
But
you know,
but
yes.
they're slick because you know how they reinforce that misnomer
Hmm.
is they purposely had money going from our country, really our taxpayers, like our middle class and poor people, sending it to really the rich people in that poor country ended up pocketing it, right? But it was labeled as such, like, hey man, it's to feed Haitians, and obviously it's going to get stolen, and the Haitians are not going to see not a grain of rice from it. But they purposely in the budget will make sure that some of it kind of seems like aid, so that the confusion can continue. But go on.
Exactly, and but that's what the host was making, the argument he was making to Bill Maher. Which, by the way, like Bill Maher, I said this years ago when we were doing RBT. I mean, wherever that wind's blowing, you'll see Bill Maher. Don't you worry, okay? So don't get too high and both pum pums out for him either. But at the end of it, he was like, people that have this in their, this piece of tech in their chest, they won't be able to get access to it anymore because that came from USA. And this person over here, or these people over here in this country, and Bill Maher, at the end of all that word salad, Bill Maher was like, okay, look, you guys put your message out there, and the country said your message sucks, essentially. And he just gave it right back to him. It's like, you just said a whole bunch of words, but literally said nothing at the same time. And that's how the country's seeing it, man. And if you can't take the time to think, why is Bill Maher railing against these people who just, 12, 18 months ago were supposed to be his besties, rubbing shoulders with him everywhere. But now even he's like, I can't do this anymore. Like, this is impossible to go along with.
Hey, you know what might really kind of help unite the country and help disabuse people from the media's lies, right? Because
The Snoop Dogg and Tom Brady commercial from last night?
yeah, like dude, I look at all those ads very differently now at my age because
Yeah.
I mean I even had a minor in communication management where we studied like slogans and campaigns and you had to do like a report and all this type of crap. But anyway, now at my age, like as more and more stuff is getting revealed, now I really look at every ad different. Like we were watching it. Shout out to Kobo's Barbecue, bro. Man, that man could cook. Like him
Yeah.
and his whole team. So we went out there yesterday to watch Super Bowl, and we saw that commercial of the Snoop Dogg saying like, "Man, it's sad, huh? It's sad, cuz, cuz
Yeah.
with so much hate that we would even have to do a commercial like this." It's like, oh no, man, my heroes are becoming Al Sharptons, bro. No, and and that politics is so messy that the point I'm trying to make is I would like for people from all aisles of all sides of politics, normie, like I would like an old school Chingo Bling fan to keep an open mind and just tune in and be like, let me hear what these racist coconuts are saying.
Yeah.
And then tune in and be like, oh, this is kind of cool. They're talking about a Super Bowl commercial. Like, oh shit, they kind of broke down how, well, hey, think about it. Next time you see an ad like this, what are they trying to communicate to who? What agenda could it be, twisted into? And really who's funding it? Just so you can reverse engineer, I'm not telling y'all to be a nerd and not enjoy commercials anymore because you want to overthink everything. But my point is, I'd rather have, at least my perspective on this show to be one that's like, man, it feel like Chingo was just really just trying to like have a discussion about like some of the hoaxes and like for example, Chingo said on RPT, hypothetically, like one of the biggest red pills that would unite this country would be if a Trump hater, like a raza, like, hey, fool, like, man, I can't stand that about the homie, and that's why I don't like MC Magic and, Chingo Bling and all these Trump sympathizers, and I'd rather go to this comedian show because he didn't vote for Trump, even though he probably did. He's just smart
Just
enough to
didn't
keep
say
his
it.
mouth shut and pretend he's a Democrat for your stupid ass. Anyway, no, I would like for those guys, the big never Trumpers, to see a change economically and maybe stumble across the fact that they've been robbing us blind with these taxes. Like I don't know if they printed money for some of this stuff, but they're lining their pockets and they over here scaring you about oligarchs, which is also a thing, right? There's oligarchs and shit. And yeah, I'm sure the broligarchs, these little tech putos, They some piece of shits too. So, you know what I mean? I'm not defending them. Fuck them. But I think that could be a major red pill. You know what I'm saying, Rob? Like,
Yeah, as a matter of fact, go ahead, finish
no,
your thought.
like basically, if it's like, hold on, fool, you're telling me these vatos spent 59 million in a week for hotels for like it's like the meme. They slowly looking racist and shit. They looking like the dude from American History X by the end of the frame. Like a week, he goes from a cholo to like little by little, he's going into that skinhead look. Like
Yeah.
a week for the Venezuelans, my jefita never got a hotel. 5-star in New York, where do I get a hotel? And boom, final phrase, you were a little neo-Nazi.
The final image is just Sean Strickland. I don't know if you saw the fight, but Sean Strickland was looking like a homeboy from American History X against Duplessis.
Man, I ain't see it, dog.
Dude, it's too bad. I'm a huge Strickland fan, but he did not look good. I don't know if he had staph after all or something. It just didn't look good. He got beat up.
They
Nose
say he had
broken.
staff.
That was the conspiracy theory, I guess you could call it, or just a theory, because you could see on his arm like he had a really crazy like just hole here almost looking during the weigh-ins, and people were like, that doesn't look right. And then when you see him perform, you're like, that's not how Strickland has ever fought before.
But
So he's
like it looked like he was on a lot of antibiotics or something.
exactly. That's exactly what it looked like.
You ain't got
But
all your gut flora.
Chingo knows all about that.
You know what I'm saying?
But like you were saying, I actually screenshotted to kind of piggyback off what you just said. So I don't know who this figure could be, but I think as the 2025 kind of rolls on, we're going to see more of these public figures that could kind of mend and bring people back together in a sense, which sounds crazy because you don't want to rely on anybody that has necessarily public figure status to be the person to bring you together. It's supposed to be on the people relying on themselves to go find the information, because now more than ever, you got the ability to go find it. But I screenshotted a comment on one of your posts, which I'm not going to read it all, but essentially the guy like apologized. I don't know if you remember this because I think you replied to it. I just captured.
Oh
his
yeah,
part.
yeah. I was like, don't even sweat it, bro.
Yeah, he was like 4 years. Hey, he's like, he even wrote it like, "Hey, yo, 4 years ago, bro. Like, I was on some dumb shit, this, that, and the other. I didn't see." Essentially, just asking for forgiveness and also apologizing like sincerely. And I thought that was great. And I hope that as the year rolls on, you're going to see more of that either publicly or even behind closed doors. That's what really, I guess, the aim is with all of this kind of conversation.
I think it's just like a beautiful goal to not like, oh, I want everybody to be a Trumper, or like Chingo's just trying to make everybody Republican. No. I'm not even crazy about that term.
America
You know what I mean? I'm more just I'm just more America first, dog. Rob took the words out of my mouth. So yeah, man, I'm not out to just be like, you gotta think exactly like me. What is that, fool? A pin?
The greatest president that God ever created.
Hey,
Already.
that was a random, but the random, that was the best one that he could have said.
Already.
Greatest
Put that
president.
man on Mount Rushmore.
Can you imagine?
Dude, if everybody feels an economic bump in their wallet, like if all of a sudden there's a shit ton of jobs, or like rent came down, or like, yo, what's up with groceries, dog? Like if you start thinking you from Kuwait, like pretty soon you're gonna get a check every month from the government. Obviously that, we're not talking about UBI.
We're going to find Chingo moving to the Middle East pretty soon. I can see it.
Dude, zero crime, bro. Zero crime. That's all
Hey,
I gotta say.
Move out to the hill country is all I'm saying.
Zero crime.
Zero crime.
I know, it's just all my family over here, bro. All my family,
Yeah, I
everybody,
understand.
parents, my oldest daughter, sisters, our
In due
jujitsu,
time.
our jujitsu gym, our church.
In due time. Even the people who never thought they'd move to this area are moving. Like I was listening to the Fight Companion. I think Brendan Schaub finally like, I'm moving to Austin. I don't know if I'm going to buy a Tesla, but he's essentially talking about moving out here. And that guy was like Abbott Kinney, what's the other, all those areas in California until he dies. But now look at him.
Really? And what reasons did he give, or what?
I mean, if anybody ever listened to The Fighter or The Kid, like Brendan, Callan too would just drop about how much they hate, Newsom or New Scum as they even call it.
policies.
And the policies, yeah, and walking out on Venice, and having literally like needles in the grassy area, like you could just, why would you want to continue to live there, especially when you're trying to raise a family? Callan just restarted a family,
Dude, like sometimes we have to like remove ourselves from what we're used to, like the fact that like an American could argue with you, Rob, and say, well, these guys have the freedom to shoot up, and where are you going to put them, Rob? And hey, America, we're just a bunch of drug addicts, and it's a big city, and those are just big city problems. Versus now, look at it from like you from United Arab Emirates, and you come and be like, why would y'all live like this? Like, why would you allow drug needle in the grass by the beach? This is a rich real estate. There's shopping. There's really, you know what I mean? Like, I went Indian
There's
there for a
human
minute.
feces next to it.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
No.
And maybe Newsom and how poorly a lot of these leftist Marxists govern. I wish that could be a bigger red pill where, the raza, just a normie who probably hates Chingo Bling could just wrap their brain around, all right, bro, let me holler at you. Do you think Newsom and the Democrats, for example, the LA mayor, just what you see in your neighborhood, the amount of crime and drugs, do you think they're doing a good job? And see what they say. Either they're going to say, well, fool, it's a hard job, and like they're doing their best, and like they're gonna try to defend them, or they may be like, nah, fuck Newsom too, homie, but nah, it's just the fact that you're a Trump sympathizer. It's like, whoa, we're not talking about Trump sympathizer right now, all right? We're asking you what you think about where you live. Can you answer that? And that might be a red pill, where it's like, especially if you give them some statistics, some actual for real certified statistics, like this is how much money they're spending on the homeless. This is how much these people get paid. This is how much homelessness increases every year. It's getting worse. Here are some of their ideas as to what to do. Put a shelter by your house. You know what I mean? Give free needles down the street from your daughter's school. So it's going to be a lot of junkies out there. Decriminalizing sleeping all on the street, so your kids got to walk past bullshit on the way to school. I'm not done yet, Julio. You know what I mean? And just go on and be like, just all those things. Like y'all not managing the fires. It's like, what the fuck are they doing?
Yeah, the way I like
Incentivizing bullshit.
Yes, incentivizing it for sure. Literally incentivizing, like just do your worst. Up until recently, you just steal as much as you want, up to $1,000, and you'll be fine until they reverse that, right? Stuff like that. Just everything, all those little things encroach on just a worse and worse living experience. If you just let it slide, and eventually it becomes it's a big city problems. Well, it doesn't start as a big city problem; it turns into a big city problem. But to piggyback off of that too, I like to frame it when people, because I don't like necessarily bringing these topics up, but most everybody that knows me even a little bit knows that I do enjoy reading about it, talking about it with you or whatever. And so they'll ask me. I'll never start these conversations, but they'll always get started with me. So when they do that, I frame it as, let me ask you this, and this is literally what I'll say, like, how would you frame what's going on now in a way that you would say this is the better way forward? So if you're arguing about what Elon's doing, what Trump's done, what his press secretary said, what anybody in this administration, Pete Hegseth, name a person and name an initiative or whatever. Vivek, if what they're doing is terrible, please tell me how you would frame the better way forward. And they almost have nothing other than what they heard that day on The View or CNN or on Twitter from, or Reddit politics, which is all just liberal, right, or rather left-wing craziness. And I'll just say, okay, well, whenever you have a way of conveying like what you think the better way forward is, let's talk about it. But until then, like, it's just, I'm not going to argue about who's right or who's wrong. I just think that these things are probably a better way forward. Let's just take transparency. You don't want transparency? I think we're done with the conversation at that point.
Yeah, you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah, what's there to talk about?
Yeah, you dumb as a motherfucker. You want transparency. Yeah. But excuse my language. So look, you mentioned Pete Hegseth, right? Let me use that as an example of how if you only consume right-wing type of algorithm, right? Versus you getting all the View and all the like the woke shit, and I'm curious who's like the leftist Patrick Bet David. Like I know you got Young Turks and like, you know what I mean? I know a little bit about that. I don't have time to study everything about both sides.
Yeah. Right.
But let's use Pete Hegseth as an example. So if you're on the right, let's just call it that, right? You look the center. Really these days you could be in the center and you consider right. But let's just say you're pro Pete Hegseth and you're pro Trump. You voted for Trump. Now your opinion on Pete Hegseth might be Trump is making really good picks. He wants to make the military more lethal and just stronger and stop being all about spending tax dollars on like people literally signing up just so they get their trans surgery on and they get some free hormones and shit out the deal. Motherfuckers used to want a motherfucking Dodge Charger out the deal or something. At least. Nah, get you some, GI Bill. You know what I mean? There's a lot of opportunities in the military.
Yeah.
So especially now with like the branding changing, like U.S. Army, stronger people, harder to kill, baby.
There you
We ain't
go.
trying to be easy to kill, bitch. Who wants smoke? Denmark, and I'm at Panama. I'm gonna need my canal back. You know what I mean? We need hemispheric. We owning the whole block, bitch. You ain't finna say Russian Navy and China Navy and all that encroaching upon my shit. But look, now people on the left are like very afraid of Pete Hegseth. They're like, he's some weekend Fox News guy who allegedly drinks way too much, and I think he like hit on a chick once, and I think at one point he said like, make me a sandwich to somebody, and he has like this tattoo that looks kind of racist. That guy should not be anywhere near our government. And then boom, they hop on MSNBC. They say that in a different tone, in a very smart manner. You know, I mean, Pete Hegseth. I mean, he's obviously a Trump appointee sympathizer. I mean, Trump's trying to take over by using his little Fox News friends. You know, so if you only hear that and you don't hear, look, he's coming in and getting rid of these General Millies. We've been losing nothing but wars. People are dying. We're out in these countries for 20 years. We bailing out, leaving them billions of dollars. Like, we're on some cuck shit right now. Like, we letting them keep our military equipment. You let them blow up 13 soldiers, bro. You know what I mean? Like, your commercials are weak. Y'all looking stupid, and y'all keep changing the I guess the amount of push-ups and sit-ups and how fast you can run, like all that stuff. Like, hey, we supposed to be trained, lethal, TTG, trained to go, killing machines, like handle business and punk whoever needs to get punked.
Yeah,
And that's the other version.
That's the other version. If you don't like the rate at which, that's another thing too, actually. As a matter of fact, I think it was Brett, what's his last name? Weinstein. Not Weinstein. Weinstein? No, whichever one it is. The good one, not the bad one. He was on Rogan. It was a fascinating conversation. That guy's one of those like super smart geniuses that every time you hear him talk, you're like, man, it just makes you feel less and less intelligent the more he talks. But he's making a lot of really good points about Trump and what we've seen in the media and the lies and corruption and people's savviness to everything, right? And it was either him or Rick Caruso was on too, the business guy that was going for mayor. Or governor, was it? I think of California here recently, mayor. And the way that what they say is people nowadays are so savvy, essentially, that when they hear like the take you just gave, that most people, most normies might hear, but the younger ones, like the Gen Z, they'll hear it and they're just so good at recognizing when it's just BS that it's not working anymore. And that eventually the left will find its footing. This is a kind of greater point they were making. It's like the left will find its footing and it'll find a way to kind of come back into the favor of maybe a slight majority, or just some people. Because right now it feels like nobody can trust what's coming out of any camp on the left. But it's going to be really hard because the younger people just really are that savvy. Like if you think of our grandparents, parents, you and I, and now like our kids growing up, everybody's gotten gradually more intelligent with like how to adapt. And young people now are adapting to the psyops essentially. They're adapting to all the messaging that's coming out, and it's going to be really hard to just let anything fly out there and feel like I'm going to win an election or I'm going to win confidence based off messaging, right? I'm going to put this kind of labeling and messaging behind Pete Hegseth, and people are going to believe us. That's not going to work.
Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, first of all, I do want to say this. When I did my rant about the military, and I was like, this and that, and they want you to have it in the commercials a week. I don't want anybody from the actual military to think like, hey, bro, some of us fly drones, bro. Like, we ain't all got to be, you know what I mean? Like, I ain't got to have a six pack to be a killing machine, bitch. I know how to load up these missiles, bitch. Fuck you mean? So yeah, I want to, what I was trying to say, just clear that up, is like,
Peel that back a little bit.
Yeah, just to clear it up. Like, I'm not saying none of y'all, are less than or anything like that, but the way the top leadership, General Milley, like kind of some treasonous type stuff, and just like some of the branding and some of the incentives and some of the stuff that our taxpayers are expected to pay, that is, I think, designed to make us look weak. You know what I mean? Just that whole thing. But you just made an interesting point. You were saying that the younger people are getting way more savvy at understanding some of the psyops, or maybe some of the economics, or some of the arguments in terms of like, I keep hearing y'all call everybody Nazis on that side. Like, I get it. It's a five fire alarm all the time. It's always Bernie Sanders. That, I think that's a big red pill too. Like, there's just a lot of little red pills of like, people don't always people aren't always who they try to come across as. Like
Yeah.
ALC try to come across all like smart, young Latina, this
It's
and
really
that.
terrible. She's really bad at trying to make herself seem smart these days.
But it works on a lot of people because it's almost like meme rhetoric of like, you're gonna do a Nazi salute from behind the seal of the United States. There's people like that. Like Bernie Sanders. I think he's
Yeah.
a big red pill. If you stumble across the irony and the hypocrisy of like senator, and he's just
Yeah.
like when RFK was like, hey bro, tell everybody how much millions you got from pharma. That was only I helped them
Yeah.
raise 150 million. I kept 2 for myself, and I had some expenses, and I only got 2 mansions. Some of these motherfuckers got 3 mansions, And it's like for example, when you were saying earlier, what the left and the Democrats are gonna have to do to like rebuild and earn trust, right? That was a big part of your point.
Yeah.
Okay, if you're trying to rebuild and earn trust, I feel like government needs to be reimagined in some modern day fashion.
Ooh, let's unpack that. Tell me.
Well, because we're already witnessing the ability of Elon Musk, his team, and a lot of the MAGA type people like Matt Gaetz have been calling out USAID. Like these people have been, that's their fire alarm. It's like, yo, there's fraud and waste, and these motherfuckers need to be in prison. Like, we're here to speak for the American people. Look at what they're doing to the people from Hurricane Helene. Can't get no help. You know what I mean? Roads ain't cleared. Like, what are y'all doing? Like, there's stuff in warehouses. Why y'all can't get it to them? When can people are intense. They were intense when it was hot. Now they're intense while it's freezing. So that's a whole other mess. But like, we're witnessing AI being able to unpack the spider web of like, well, first we get this check through this NGO. This NGO gets to these people, then these people send it to this LLC, and then this company's done it. Long story short, it went to Chelsea Clinton or something,
Yeah,
right?
somehow, right?
Yeah, it's like that little 384,000 that was supposedly to study XYZ, and they sent it here. This person got their cut, and not only is government having to be reimagined, right? Because it's like an archaic type of thing to where it allows for a system where you have a bunch of crooked politicians getting on TV trying to sound smart and brainwashing people to where they're over here like, yeah, fuck Donald Trump and his supporters. You know what I mean? Because I like Maxine Waters because she's cool or whatever. Because it's always 2 movies on the same screen. Like, I like that Maxine Waters got in that guy's face, and everyone on the right's like, I'm glad that dude didn't let them in because they ain't got no business in there. They trying to disrupt. They trying to disrupt the fact that they're getting audited, and don't nobody want to get audited, but they're telling the American people that this audit is bad for them, huh? So I feel like what the left or whatever new political party is going to sprout up, if it can stop trying to figure out who's going to fund it, like Big Pharma and the military industrial complex, because you got all these crooked people. All right, so that's a big part of it. Whatever new party or the new Democrats 2.0, they're going to have to keep communists, leftists, and Marxists, like just people with a bad anti-American agenda to hijack it. You got Ilhan Omar and all these people with all these different ideas. But at the same time, to be fair, you got a lot of people in our government that are dual citizenship. Bitch, what you need another? You don't need to be a politician then. You don't need to be in Congress then, ho. If you worried about, I'm a dual. Fuck you mean dual? You always voting for us, or it's a dual vote?
Yeah, right. Where does your allegiance lie, huh? Is it with Merca? It was somewhere.
Oh, yeah, you somewhere else. Across the pond, some goddamn where.
Hey,
so, yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Nah,
Well,
but that's basically my point. It's like, in a perfect world, you're going to have some actual patriots wanting to make America good, a positive for their constituents and actually put them first. But you got this human nature to where that's not what they're doing. That's why we're seeing USAID, and that's why the fake news has been propped up and pharma been making the food, FDA approving bullshit. So it's almost like people got to realize, hey, we used to like y'all when y'all were the ones about not being for censorship and y'all wanted good health. Like y'all were the ones fighting for peace. We was rocking with y'all then. It seemed kind of cool when JFK. But then after that, little by little, it's like it seemed like y'all hate America. It seemed like y'all trying to brainwash the kids. Y'all got a bunch of weird astroturfed agendas. Y'all using our money to prop up y'all's agendas and force it down our throat. That's what y'all doing with this money. Y'all doing shit to shoot us in the foot with our tax dollars. Y'all funding the invasion. So until y'all cannot be hijacked and hollowed out and really just like communists done took it over, basically.
Yeah, well, when you talk about, since JFK, let's just take it from that time. They're not shooting you in the foot; they're shooting us in the face. Like for a lot of people, they're just blatantly telling you, like, this is, what it's gonna be.
Taxing the shit out of you.
Yeah, we're just gonna mask everything under, great names and political titles for this legislation and bundle it all together with dingleberries everywhere and not let you know what's really going on. The tax code's gonna go from 1 million words to 10 million words. And it goes on both sides. So we're not saying that one side did it right the entire time. If you go to, even if you use ChatGPT, use Grok, use any AI if you want, if you don't feel like you have the time to read books or excerpts from different periods in time, but just go back to like World War II to now, and then just kind of get the high level view of what happened. Some things, whether there was territorial gains, like I want to talk about Mexico, the whole land thing, or it's taxes, or it's whatever it is. And you'll see batches of like 2 or 3, presidential runs where you start noticing things, Federal Reserve Act, right, taxation after the war, whatever, and you're like, they could have changed it. They could have reformed it there. They could have reformed it here too. Well, they could have done it here as well. And now we're 50 years later, nothing's being done, and it's building up to this boiling point where, unfortunately, and this sounds like revolutionary talk, but we need somebody to actually take the first step forward to gutting a lot of this bloat. And I think that's what Trump's doing. He doesn't have to come back. He's going to set a pretty bare bones landscape maybe for the next person to come in and try to correct some of these wrongs. Because back to my point earlier, the better way forward is not what's currently going on right now. It does have to be somehow reformed and reimagined, because what's happening now is going to eventually make the entire country insolvent. So there's no more money anyway. So who gives a fuck? It's going to collapse at some point. The dollar will lose all of its power and then moves on to another superpower. We're hitting that point of 250, 275 years of, empire status. Do we surpass Rome? Do we surpass these higher levels of, being number one? I don't know. Not at this rate. It didn't feel like it.
I felt like a Roman watching the Super Bowl. I was like, look at this bread and circus. Like if it's because I assumed that they were going to be helping the Chiefs win, like bad calls and the refs and like the whole
first
shit.
Play was a flag, and I was like, that was a bad flag.
Everybody was like, they starting with that bullshit.
Yeah.
Obviously, that ass whooping, they couldn't stop that, right?
Great. Hey, but as we're talking, Elon tweeted, what happens in the House, or what happens in that. Let me just read you the story actually first. Obama judge demands Trump resume all pause funding, and that's the headline. So, an Obama-appointed federal judge in Rhode Island is demanding that Trump resume all pause funds, and the whole write-up goes into, or not the write-up, but the tweet, that it is an undemocratic and unconstitutional power grab by a tiny group of radical leftists, meaning these judges, right? And I've heard this point made a lot recently where you have these judges across the entire country who all of a sudden, you've never heard this much about a judge here, a federal judge there, this judge is here, that's making these huge leaps in power, and some might say the president's doing the same thing. We're talking about the president here. This judge is pausing all of the initiative of pausing funding or where money goes just because he said so. I think we need to look into, as the meme, the Soros meme goes, like, where's the money coming from? Why is this guy all of a sudden just saying you can't do that?
Hey, the crazy thing is, did you hear that Soros wasn't even using all his own money?
No.
It was barely not even a lot of his. It was USAID.
Oh, I did hear that. Yeah.
They were funneling it. Even I think even like and you got to be careful too, because I had to unfollow some accounts because they'll fucking post some bait and you'd be like, oh shit, that money was going there. And then you post it and people are like, see, that's why. People on the right. Case in point,
stuck in your throat talking like that.
Misinformation. Bitch, I'm going to stuff you in the locker.
Where
anyway,
you belong.
It's like, Chingo, come on, dog. You ain't stuffing nothing nowhere. Oh, but hey, back to what you were saying.
Yeah.
Judges. Oh yeah.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, the federal judges, and bro, I don't know if some of these federal judges, like how they went about knowing their, like, basically having their assignment. Like, hey, if you made it up the ranks to federal judge, and for whatever reason, either you really interpret the law like this and you feel like it's not overreach for you to do this, or you understand the assignment and you a little commie, like you doing some commie shit, or you down with the little commie gang or the globalists, or like, I would love to know, because I've heard the, I guess I'll call it the theory that that actual real deal communists are very subversive, and they know how to, let's say, be a spy and call yourself Fang Fang and get with Rep Eric Swalwell, right?
Right.
Or to be a professor and to put a soft spin on communism and try to make as many of these college kids activists. You know what I mean? Like, either they do it on their own because they're just like cat ladies, or they're just like super libtards, you know, with they all with the same glasses and don't get no sun. You know, you see him at the airport all the time. Got about 4 masks on, and just the poor dude, like he's about to die. They putting so much soy. You know what I mean? Like the whole family, the kids. It's almost like the mom has mental illness, right?
Yes.
Like she's some kind of narcissist, and the news. This is another theory. I'm spinning off on theories. It's almost like MSNBC, and this could probably happen with Fox News. That's why, you know, you got to be careful. Like, you know, they'll rile your ass up, or certain accounts, certain rabbit holes. But right now we talking about the libtards.
Yeah.
Like MSNBC can exploit your mental illness and have you hating and fearful, cutting off your Trump supporting family and go leaving a comment on your favorite artist. Like, bro, y'all just like MC Magic last week. Y'all was fucking with MC Magic. Y'all like, nigga, I love the talk box. Like, y'all was all about, y'all was buying the eye makeup palettes he was putting out. Y'all was at every concert talking about, Little Rob's here too. And now fucking Trumper. It's like, come on, dog. You're not even giving this man benefit of the doubt. Anyway, I feel like MSNBC can really mess with people's heads to where the lady at the airport with the 3 masks and her kids look all scared. She got them wearing masks. Like, she's putting her little narcissism on the whole family. The husband has not seen sunlight or a dumbbell in like ever. And yeah, that's my point on that.
I mean, maybe I missed the MC Magic thing. Can you bring me up to speed? What did he say or do?
I'm gonna bring it up just because, like, I just feel like it's an example of y'all are little bullies. Like, the fans are fickle.
Yeah, for sure.
It's so important. Like, I need to write like, I want to put together a master class of some sort. I just need to like narrow it down. So that it could be a very valuable product for someone who's like, I just need like some good game 101. Like, I'm a starting comedian. I'm a rapper, or I'm trying to be a manager in my hometown. I know some artists. My homies make beats. Like, you trying to get into show business, peep some of the pitfalls. You know what I mean? So one thing I want to say in that book, in that ebook or something, is kind of like, hey, the fans are real fickle. Like, you need to figure out who you are and how you want to engage through your art. Because last time I checked, MC Magic was like one of the most generous dudes, hardworking, give y'all his heart and soul. Like, he's the blueprint. Put his kids through college off of that talk box, like making catchy songs, not being out there on some gangster shit trying to start trouble. Like, blueprint business. Good business, to where if you're Live Nation or you're a venue, you can't wait to meet with MC Magic. Like, if you're a fan, you know the meet and greet gonna be lit. Like, he's gonna do his job. But the fans are so fickle that the minute one of the crazies starts putting together the puzzle of like, well, he did retweet Elon Musk one time, and he liked one of Chingo Bling's posts, and on this podcast he said, I don't like terrorists coming through my border. You know what I mean? And they piece it all together where they're like, I think we got a Trumper. I think we have a Trump sympathizer. And they go into activist mode. Like, their little, whatever type of school district brainwashed them somehow, some way, they arrived at this point where now they're going to go leave a mean comment and harass his business associates and somebody maybe who's sponsoring him and maybe he's people on his team, to just try to create chaos and destroy. And I just feel like that's so unfortunate, dog.
Yeah, and I think what a lot of people could benefit from is just longer. It sounds really simple, right? Like oversimplified, but longer conversations about any of the topics that interest you. Like, just for instance, if you see somebody like Charlie Kirk or those people who have those kind of college, debates or conversations. They're not even debates. A lot of times they're
Hmm.
conversations, unless you're doing like Change My Mind, like Crowder does,
Hmm.
where the student that walks up, like it could be a simple statement, but they have to read it from their phone because they're so, in my opinion, they're so unconvinced, right, of what they're saying that they're just trying to recite
Hmm.
something that they can't recite. They don't remember it. They
Hmm.
don't know it. They don't feel it in their heart or whatever or their
Yeah.
head. But if they took the time, the kid that is, or anybody really, to go like the Socratic method style, where you're mature enough to go back and forth and challenge your ideas and challenge your thoughts and philosophies about things without getting riled up and gassed up because of what you saw on MSNBC, like you said, they can warp your mind really easily. And people are so susceptible to that. Whereas you would think, and that's what I was saying about Gen Z, I feel like the younger kids already innately kind of have a better ability to go back and forth with what they think and how they think, rather than just, saying you're wrong, I'm right, and just, piss off.
And you know what else too, bro? With identity politics, like for example, that person who's gonna argue with Charlie Kirk, right? Just a kid who's reading a meme or something they saw regurgitating something they saw on TikTok or the
Yeah.
TV. If you add the added layer of I'm kind of an activist because it's kind of cool. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, or like, I went to the march or the rally, or like, I put the BLM black square. Why, bro? You don't care about black people because they're like virtue signaling,
Yeah.
and they get clout. So there's all these other variables, invisible variables of like things being reinforced. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna marry and subscribe to your ideas more if you're getting a little clout or people know you on campus as, hey, that's the vato that provided security at our last meetup, homie, for the rally. You know what I mean? Or like, hey, this vato's an artist, homie. He designed our logo for the. You're getting all this like love bomb because it's like special shout out to Roberto G, Rob G, man. He was out there with us, you know? And then if you add the layer and variable of and I identify as a Chicano. I'm Mexican, American. I'm not American, Mexican. Like I'm gonna have the flag. It's like cool, bro. Like I get it. I've been through that. But also make sure that you're not like in a cult about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
In other words, the kid who's reading the Charlie Kirk might be easier to arrive at an open-minded spot if they don't also have the added burden of ethnicity and identity politics. So that same person, now if you make her a proud Chicana on top of that, not only is she ready to argue with Charlie Kirk because she just has some prejudices, right? That's the base. She's going uphill because she's also a proud Chicana. And my parents are from Mexico and you're gonna be here racist? It's like, ain't nobody racist. I'm Charlie Kirk. I'm just asking questions or I'm talking to people. No, you're fucking racist because you see my brown skin and my gente indígena and you're the motherfucker and it's like, hey, you're cussing. Like, lady, chill. And it's not even her fault. It's because they made her proud like that to where it's like, it's one thing to love your culture and kind of love what the food and the music and your people and where you're from, where your family's from. That's one thing. Ain't nothing bad with that. But if you're not able to not be emotional
Yeah.
in
That's
a
crazy.
conversation, it's like that's kind of hurting you. Like, hey, maybe drop out of Chicano studies, like go study a real trade,
Dude, yeah,
Stop
like
trying to be a brown beret all the time.
blind allegiance to something is easy to fall into. I understand, but I give it more of a pass if you're like the blind allegiance to an American as an American, whether you're Mexican American, any American, right? Rather than the blind allegiance to another country while you're in America. That shit just blows my mind and really pisses me off. It's super annoying. When I see
Yeah.
people burning the flag and doing shit like that,
Yeah,
especially if you're
no, no, no,
young,
no.
oh my God. I understand that falls under free speech. You can do it, but damn, does that piss me off.
Yeah, I don't know if that's like considered a crime or if you could get in some kind of trouble for that or it's just a free speech, you're just allowed to do it.
You can do it, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not 100% well versed, so I mean I believe you, but like I'm not knocking people who rep their shit because that was me. You know what I mean? So like I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I wasn't Mr. They Can't Deport Us All,
No, of course,
and
yeah.
it was like super over the top Mexican, like and humorous most of the time. Like oh, seriously, the vato who dropped Dirty Horchata Bro, did you not have a mixtape called Dirty Horchata? And now you're telling people not to be proud? It's like, no, what I'm saying is try to be, at least keep your mind flexible enough to where you can receive information. Like if the fact that you're Chicano is making you want your tax dollars to get stolen from you, talking about we helping Ukraine, okay, then maybe you being so Mexican ain't helping you. Because we trying to talk about money going to Ukraine, but somehow it turned into Democrats own Mexicans. So now you just cucking for the Democrats because you Mexican. You feel what I'm saying?
100%.
Like now they used it against you and manipulated you to where like they can pull your strings and make you move a certain way. Especially if you could take Trump saying something about rapists and murderers and take it out of context and edit it to where it's like the perfect fucking tool. These people are gonna hate him for the next 15 years. He can't even run after that. They're going to hate him for the next 15 years until they kind of start to realize like, whoa, I was being way too, it's almost like I needed a Snickers because I was hungry. It's like, sorry, dude, I was just being like really Mexican. I was just like super raza right there. Like a Fuerza Regida, I just dropped a song and I was just kind of like, yo soy mexicano, es mi bandera. And you like, man, but I like Peso Pluma. And it's like, we talking about them stealing your money and sending it to Ukraine and everybody lining their pockets and everybody's getting kickbacks. And Trump tried to look into it and was like, hey, bro, we ain't sending you no more money. And then they impeached him. And now you over here cucking for the Democrats. That's my point.
Two things. Monster Freestyle. I still jam to it almost every other day when I go to the gym. One of my favorites.
Which one?
Monster Freestyle on Dirty Horchata.
Monster. What is Monster?
Monster Freestyle. It's the last track on that.
Monster.
Is it not?
Oh, okay. It's because we named it that because it's a Future song, and I'm trying to remember how it went. I'm trying to remember the beat and stuff.
It's short, but it bumps and it's great. It gets you hyped up, ready to go to the gym. Two things. That was the first thing. Second thing is Mauricio Dubon, one of the Astros players, has I'm pretty sure it's a Peso Pluma song. So I'm eager to see what reaction it gets the next time he comes up to bat where it's playing, and it's that playing in the speakers. I'm gonna be purposely looking at the crowd, like, are they gonna react? Do they really give do they give a fuck? It's baseball.
It depends on what did Peso Pluma do? Like, should anybody be mad?
I have no idea. Or not? No, was it Peso Pluma? Who's the band that's in trouble right now?
Grupo Frontera.
It is Grupo Frontera. Yeah, there you go.
No se va.
Yeah, No Se Va is the song actually.
Which it's a cover. That's a cover, by the way.
Oh, is it?
I didn't know. Yeah, somebody told me. Yeah, somebody told me it's apparently like a I think they're from Spain. It's kind of like a pop, and it's in Spanish, but it has a different. It might be the same key, but it's not a cumbia. It's more like I've heard it like once or twice. It's more like pop, but it's like
I didn't know that.
It's more like almost like on some like Depeche Mode, like
Oh wow, okay.
I'm gonna have to hear it now because I gotta make sure I didn't give y'all the bad fucking beatbox right there.
Well, okay, all right. So anyway, yeah. So it was Grupo Frontera. That's who it is. So I'll be interested to see if the crowd reacts to the song or do they care, like whatever.
I mean, I think, dude, that. I don't know, man. Maybe we might have to put a pin in the next episode. Here's your cliffhanger. When we lock in again and we record, we have to unpack the Grupo Frontera. I think that could even be a clip, bro, because it's a discussion that has to be had. Like, y'all are turning y'all's back on these kids who give y'all this music that you liked a week ago, but a TikToker said they danced to YMCA and their grandma was happy when Trump won on the story, but they deleted it. And then they apologized. And it's like, y'all are being bullies. Like, y'all are like the mob with the torches in the front yard chasing down Frankenstein or whoever.
All right, so all right. Next show that we're doing the deep dive on that because I do want to find out what's going on with that. Two might be, and this is kind of a non sequitur, but also about music. I saw Drake. I guess his album comes out maybe this week.
Really?
They're talking about Kendrick and the whole thing, and then Drake he started his tour wherever he was, Australia or something. With did you see it? He had it was like a hoodie with a bunch of bullet holes and then smoke coming out the back or whatever.
It was like out of context. So I'm like, okay, was there like a song you're doing or something?
I think the whole thing is that like he's been taking all these shots from everybody in the industry over the last couple of months to a year, and now he's like he saw the performance yesterday, and they were like, "I told you he's gonna fall off a cliff after the halftime show performance," kind of thing. And I'm still here surviving. I'm still here killing it, kind of thing. just rabbit holes I hear on TikTok. I have no idea.
Yeah. We got to look into that. Like what all actually is happening? Because
Yeah, for the culture, as they say.
dude, have you heard the theory? And we could unpack this one next time. Have you heard the theory that Drake as an entity was becoming so big and powerful to where the labels were gonna owe him so much money to where when the beef sprouted, the labels got behind Kendrick and put their finger on the scale, interfered in the beef, amplified them calling him a minor
Right.
pedophile and all that. Almost like we're gonna give you the Michael Jackson treatment. Like everyone's gonna be singing A minor because we're gonna pay for the bots and the marketing and the promotion and the distribution and to basically slander you.
I want to dive into that just because I'm kind of intrigued by it. And then the third thing would be is we'll also do a deep dive into because I'm curious what you have seen as, the audience that you go from city to city, how the reactions are of like the stolen land debate. We used to talk about this a ton during the first run of the show. And it's like you never really hear too many people say it was purchased. They purchased the land from Mexico, right? There was this treaty, there was that treaty, or it was, one, here, Battle of San Jacinto, whatever. Land is either sold, it's agreed upon through treaties, or it is taken through conquest, which all three of those kind of apply to Texas, New Mexico, California, the whole thing, right? So it's so silly to me sometimes that people just don't know. Like, hey, most of it was purchased, by the way, from Mexico.
Bro, please write that down in the notes. We have to do a segment on it. And maybe the listeners can send us some info and some just different arguments, right? Because another argument I heard, or another data point for that in that subject, is that allegedly Mexico was kind of over the idea of having to like maintain, manage, and like have Wyoming. I think I don't know if
That's why
like
it was taken with
Utah.
such little resistance. It was already not being managed by them.
It's like they didn't want it. It was like, look, we don't want to govern way the fuck over there. Like we
Exactly.
got this shit's too big. Let's work a deal. I'll give you a little piece. All right, y'all can have that shit we don't even want.
Yeah.
That's part of it too.
There's a lot of it, yeah. And it's not lost on me that, hey, history is written by the victors. So as the winners, you might say, oh, it's a skewed vision. It's skewed version of history. Okay, show me the other evidence, the other side of it. Tell me what your ancestors said that happened in Mexico that we don't know about in our books, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, I mean, arguably, motherfuckers is reconquered the shit already. California, damn near. They're like, oh yeah, you stole it, pero sabes qué? We're getting it back, homito.
Dude, that's hilarious. That's a great way to end the show. Other than saying somebody got stabbed the other day at a protest that teachers let the kids go out there to do.
Yeah, they were. I would argue that they were kind of like encouraging it because, but the way they're going to present it is like, well, we were just kind of like guiding and assisting type of thing. Like,
So dumb.
bitch. Anyway.
All right, brother. Well, fantastic show. Next time we'll try to do a schedule that obviously fits you, but yeah, we got to give the people what they want.
Yeah, so I should be home. We'll knock it out. And don't forget, y'all, chingothemerch.com. Get you some merch. We got some fire. All right, see y'all next time. Sas.